Hello, everyone. My name is Caitlin Review Miller. I'm a therapist artist, and I'm feeling compelled to share a passage from Sharon Blackie's Hagitude. Hagitude is a word she made up that means hags with attitude, and her book is about menopause. But it's feeling inspiring to me as a woman who is not even close to menopause as sort of a way to frame transformations. So she talks a little bit about alchemy, and I thought I would share some of the things that Sharon Blackie wrote. Okay, so these are about the phases of alchemy. An initial phase, black phase, also known as nigredo, which gives way to an intermediary white phase, albedo, and culminates in a red phase, rubedo. Today, in the world of Jungian and other depth psychologies, we use the same Latin terms to refer to stages of psychological transformation. The nigredo refers to the dark night of the soul that we pass through when we're enduring deep changes in our lives. The albedo represents the psycho-spiritual purification that results from our suffering during the nigredo, and the rubedo reflects the sense of completeness and possibility that results from integrating various aspects of the psyche during the final phases of transformation. The work of the blackening, the nigredo, was the longest and most difficult phase in alchemy, and it's this stage which seems to me to be the perfect representation of what is happening to us during menopause. During nigredo, alchemists believed the substance that is transforming suffers deeply, and it's forced to shed superfluities so that its true nature can be revealed. From a psychological perspective, then, the goal during this initial phase of transformation is to reduce the individual to her bare essence, to strip her down to her most essential parts. As with physical alchemy, all the dross, the impure and redundant material, must be removed before she can move on to the next stages of transformation. Alchemists call this work mortification, literally facing the dead parts. In the laboratory, mortification produces ashes so that the characteristics of the original material are no longer recognizable. From a psychological perspective, finding the dead parts means accessing and revealing the unconscious and confronting the shadow that we find there, the unknown and often darker side of our personality. For Jung, encountering and then assimilating the shadow were necessary steps in individuation, the process of integrating disparate and neglected parts of the psyche into a functioning whole. In psychological alchemy, mortification is accompanied by difficult emotions, shame, embarrassment, guilt, or worthlessness, for example, as we finally face up to these old issues which we've hidden away. The first stage of mortification involves calcination, a process in which the transforming material is reduced to bone by burning. In psychological terms, calcination represents the destruction of false aspects of the ego, the way of presenting ourselves to the world that we've constructed in response to social and personal pressures, but which don't reflect who we really are today or who we want to become. Personal calcination begins when we begin to understand that so much of what we've imagined to be true and important in our lives might not, as we grow older, really matter at all. And so the blackness that obscures the true light of our being must be burned away to reveal our true essence. We're required during this process to reevaluate our whole way of being in the world. To be human means always to be growing, to be transforming. We're all alchemists deep inside. It's just that women have learned that fires must be put out, not encouraged to burn. We're afraid of conflagration. We're afraid of conflagration. We're afraid of losing control. But during menopause, we generally find that we have no choice. We're not in the conflagration. We are the conflagration. So I would say this is also part of my series, which right now mostly has been music, of putting up imperfect art because there is definitely a part of me that feels as though what I just read, I didn't read well enough to put on the internet. But I'm going to push through that because I think alchemy matters. I think this book matters. I don't think I will re-record this video. So some thoughts for people listening is, what is your dark night of the soul? Are you currently in one? I thought that maybe the Negredo or the black phase could be described as what's happening in society right now, how much is being burned away, how much is being destroyed, and then how to embrace aspects of this process, whether it is in your individual life or if it is in the collective. And also, I just wanted to highlight Sharon Blackie because this is just a fantastic book. And I actually picked this up in a new shop in Spring Green called Hedge Meadow. And it's across from the Opal Man. It's behind the general store. So if you want to support a local business and you're in Spring Green, Arcadia Books is also amazing, but I got this at the local herb shop, which is fantastic to have an herbalist and a witch selling her potions, essentially. So yeah, for all of you listening, I'm curious what your Negredo is. Another part of this that stuck out to me was personal calcination begins when we begin to understand that so much of what we've imagined to be true and important in our lives might not, as we grow older, really matter at all. And so the blackness that obscures the true light of our being must be burned away to reveal our true essence. We're required during this process to reevaluate our whole way of being in the world. To be human means always to be growing, to be transforming. We're all alchemists deep inside. It's just that women have learned that fires must be put out, not encouraged to burn. Oh, that feels so good to read again. I'm thinking about, for some clients, how when they start to reprioritize what matters to them in their lives, it can come with a subsequent judgment of themselves that is really harsh, of like, how could I have cared about this for so long? Or why was I in this relationship for so long? Why didn't I leave them sooner? But I think it can be really powerful to have this framed as, you know, this is your Negredo, this is a stage of transformation, and there's a gift that you have reprioritized and that you are being born again in a different stage of life. So yeah, I would recommend this book, and I'm wishing you all the best. My name is Caitlin Ruby Miller, and I'm a therapist artist. I'm getting back into reading lately, and it's bringing me a lot of joy, and I hope it brings you joy too. Thanks. Here's the tree behind me, the catalpa tree.